Hello my friends, this time I decided to make a video in English, to most of my followers because most of you guys are international and also most of the people in my country can understand English, so I think it's good for everyone. So in this video I want to talk about self-learning. So if you don't know who I am, I've been doing staff spinning since I was 12 years old. Now, I learned a few tricks from a teacher, instructor in a juggling class. He taught me one basic movement with the staff spinning. From this full motion of the wrist, I started to develop my own technique. I want to talk about this video why self-learning is important. And I want to talk about the differences between self-learning and also to learn from other people and why it's important to use both. And then I'm going to talk about how you can use this self-learning not only for a specific specialization, but also in every aspect of your life. It happened that from a very young age, I've been practicing by myself. That time, there was no YouTube, there was no tutorials how to spin a staff. In most cases, it's a problem when you don't have a source of information to learn from. But in my case, it's actually been really good because it was actually an opportunity to do my own research and to develop my own unique style. When you imagine someone who's good in self-learning, you might imagine that person, someone who is very creative, someone who's out of the extraordinary. But if you saw my life in younger age, even in my teenage life, I was a very, very bad student. Also because of the diagnosis that I had. And one of the problems that I had is that I had difficulty to process information. It means that even when I went to a special school, the teacher was teaching something, and when the teacher delivered the information, it always kept me behind the other classmates. Because of that, I had a teacher who was very frustrated at me, and she was many times angry at me and even humiliating me in front of other students. So you can imagine my self-esteem was very low. And because of that, I was very afraid to learn anything. But when I discovered the juggling, I found something that I'm very passionate about. And because I was very curious about that, and I had my own space, I didn't have anyone to judge me how I juggle. I didn't have a classmate. I didn't have people to look at me and tell me, you do it wrong. No, not good, not good. I had my own space. I was practicing in my room and I just give myself the time to try and fail and to learn again and again. So why self-learning is important? If you see all the inventions that you see in life, the camera, the lighting, every kind of thing that was created in life, it started from someone who had an idea, was something that they've been working and developing something by themselves. Maybe they had already the foundation of the knowledge that they learned from other people, but then they had to learn to reinvent themselves in order to create something new. So self-learning is important because in order to develop and achieve new things, you need to think out of the box. So because I was teaching myself with juggling, I developed something that other people couldn't do. I found something unique in myself. Self-learning is a way to find your uniqueness. It's a way to invent new things, is to make the world better. The second thing which is good about self-learning, the more you do it, then the more you start to understand what works better for you. For example, one of the things that I'm teaching myself is to learn languages. Since I was a kid, it was very difficult for me to sit in a class and try to read things. And I found that it's more easy for me to learn a language when I'm listening to the sentences and repeat it while I'm doing something else. So I encourage you, when you're trying to learn something, to try different ways to learn it and to be aware of what works better for you. Sometimes just to teach yourself is not enough. Sometimes you need the help of other people. People who are professional, people who have the experience, people who can help you to take you to the next step in places that you might be stuck in. And then you need to mix between self-learning and having a teacher. And I want to give you an example. I was very bad in communication skills. One of the reasons is because of my diagnosis that I'm on the spectrum. And one of the main problems with that is that I have a lack of communication. So even in the age of 21, I was not good in communication skills. It was so bad that I even didn't have a relationship with other women, and I didn't have strong friendships that last for long. That was a problem that I understood that I need to work on. So I use my self-learning by going to social events. I went with people to friends' house when they made parties. Even if it was not comfortable for me, I went to those social events, and I've been forcing myself to socialize much as I can. And when I started to talk with people and I see the reactions, I went back home and I've been writing to myself what I did, what I think I did wrong, what can I do better for next time. For example, maybe I'm not making enough eye contact. Maybe my voice doesn't project something that people are comfortable with. Maybe I need to be more interested about other people and ask more questions. Maybe I need to feel more freely with my body. Even though it really helps, I still felt like I'm not progressing enough and something stuck. So what I did, I've been going out with people who are very, very good in social skills. And being around those people and learning from them, this is what took me to the next step. And then eventually I started to be in relationships. And then I started to have good connections with people and having collaborations with people and having friendships. So this is a good example when you need to have also the ability to learn from other people and also to have the ability to teach yourself. Now let's go back to self-learning. How can you do it? I've been learning one specific trick, and for me it was very interesting to learn every detail of the movement. And from this specific trick that I learned, I try to invent more and more tricks that are related to the same movement. I want to give you an example of people who are not taking the time to teach themselves. When I'm practicing, sometimes I'm going to juggling events and I'm practicing with the juggling, and then someone approach me and tell me, hey, can you teach me how to do two stuffs? How can you spin two stuffs in the same time? But when I see this person start to spin with the stuff, I see that his technique is not correct. Of course, there are different styles, but you see that he doesn't focus on the foundation of his technique. So how can I teach him to do two stuffs when he doesn't have the basic foundation of the technique? Sometimes I see people, they are looking for a result, which is there, and they don't even have the foundation here. So what I did when I was younger and I was learning stuff spinning, even though I didn't have a teacher, I was focusing on the most basic foundation technique. And from there, I was asking myself, from this movement, what can I do next? From this movement, I can also turn my body and keep the movement. From this trick, I can pass the stuff behind the back and then do the same movement with the second hand. So I always try to start from the foundation and grow that more and more. So if you see my most advanced tricks, they always related to the foundation technique. So my tip for you when you are learning something, start from the most foundation. Don't try to make shortcuts and go step by step and improve yourself. The next tip I want to give you about self-learning is that you don't necessarily have always to invent yourself. you can also learn from other people, and this is relevant to most cases. Because there is already a lot of information and a lot of good information that you can learn from people who spend many years, it's not years, it's years. People who spend many time on mastering the knowledge they have, so you don't have to waste much time to try figure out things by yourself. But try to ask yourself, how can I do it differently? So, for example, I've been watching other people doing really amazing tricks with stuff. However, I saw someone doing a trick, like they are throwing the stuff and they catch it blindly. So I saw this woman doing that, and it looked really cool. But then I told to myself, what if I'm gonna do the same trick, I'm gonna catch it like this, and I'm gonna do it more like a ninja way, like being in a body position like that, throwing it very fast and catch it. So this is an example that I took a trick that already existed and asking myself, how can I do it differently? So self-teaching is also about always challenging yourself and asking yourself, what can I do differently? Or maybe how can I do it better? This is also an important question, because if you are teaching yourself and you want to be someone who's really good and known in what you're doing, you also want to try to take something even higher or to a new direction that other people didn't think about it. And then you become someone very special in what you do. I don't know if you noticed, but when I'm speaking about that, I'm very passionate. I'm very passionate about what I'm doing. I'm very passionate about juggling. I'm very passionate about performing. And for me to talk to the camera, to you guys, is also a sort of performance. This is another tip I have for you. Of course, that sometimes we need to learn things that we are not interested in, but I think one of the things that makes us good in teaching ourselves is to teach ourselves things that are interesting for us, something that we are passionate about. So if you find something that you're interested in, something that you are passionate about, there is much more likely that you're gonna be better in teaching yourself that specific thing. Okay, so I think that's it for now. I'm quite improvising in this video. I didn't write anything before making this video, so I'm sure there will be more things that I will talk about this subject, but I think for now it was pretty good. But I will let you to decide. So let me know in the comments what do you think, if it was helpful, if I would like to know from your own experience, how do you teach yourself? And lastly, let me know if there is anything else you want me to talk about in other videos. Okay? So if you enjoy it, please push on the like button and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.